Hello dear students, I am Prabhat Dubey, your biology teacher from LPM Public School, Gola Bazaar. Students, we were discussing the complex permanent tissues and today we will discuss about phloem. This is very important conduction tissue. It helps in transport of synthesized food. As you know that in the presence of sunlight, water and carbon dioxide, the green pigment of leaf and other parts of the plant helps in synthesis of food through the process of photosynthesis, and it is the most prominent process that ensures reach of energy to each and every cell that is living on this earth. This process of food synthesis ensures delivery and availability of food to each and every living organisms. So we are dependent on synthesizers that are plants that possess chlorophyll. Directly or indirectly, each and every living being is dependent on this green pigment chlorophyll for their food. So what type of vascular tissue that is found in plants that help in conduction of this synthesized food from the leaves to the rest of the parts of the plant. As you know that energy requirement is done by the conducting tissues. These are mostly four type of cells that are available in this phloem that helps in conduction of food, and these are sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. So we will see one by one what are the prominent roles. First, we need to understand this transverse section of phloem tissue and this longitudinal section of phloem tissues. It will help us in understanding the complex association of these four types of tissues, how they help in conduction of food. What is the exact role of sieve tube, companion cells, sieve plate, parenchyma cells, and how the cumulative effect ensure the availability of food in each and every cell of the plant. Okay, so first we will talk about this transverse section of phloem tissue. In this diagram, you can clearly understand that there is a different types of structures are found. In some cells there is a dotted structure that is called sieve plate. You can witness this structure in this diagram as well. It provides a passage of transfer of the food material. It connects the cells. It ensures the passage, how the food is transferred from one cell to another. It provides a medium. Okay, so if there is blockage, the food is not passed from one cell to another, then the whole transport mechanism will be checked. Okay, so before discussing this chapter, you have to know what are the prominent cells that we talked about and what are their important role. So first we will talk about the sieve tube. As you can witness, presence of sieve tube and their function. Sieve tubes are composed of living, slender and elongated tube-like cells from end to end. In this diagram, you can clearly understand this sieve tube is present as a thread-like structure. It is getting accumulated at the center and then again it is subdivided. It is the connecting link and it is made up of cellulose. So sometimes this type of questions are asked, what type of material is present in sieve tube. So you have to clearly answer that. It is made up of cellulose. Next feature is the transverse walls are obliquely placed and perforated by a number of pores that are called sieve plates. Okay, these sieve plates are very important. In this diagram, the exact working and positioning of sieve plate is not clear, but when you will study this longitudinal section, you can clearly understand their structure and their positioning in the phloem cells. and how they allow the transport, how they help in the transport of food material. It is very clearly visible. Okay, so you have to make this transverse and longitudinal section of phloem. This diagram will fetch you good mark in the examinations. Without marks, if you are just writing theory, it will not fetch you good marks, because any type of biological answer should be backed by some structure if needed. You should not just emphasize deliberate addition of any structure is not good. But if that structure is adding value to your answer, then you have clearly make a good diagram with proper demarcation. Okay. The next feature, due to these tube plates, the perforations, one cell is connected to another, and the dissolved food material passes away from one cell to another cells. So connectivity is maintained. The food manufactured by the leaves is transported and stored. So storage of the food is also necessary. So you can witness these cells, the companion cells. There are presence of a large vacuole that stores food, and when there is need, the food material is liberated from this vacuole. Okay. So if there is no storage, then if the process of photosynthesis is checked in the absence of light, then there will be no availability of food. So storage of food is required. So these cells that are assisting the sieve tubes, companion cells and parenchyma cells, ensures the availability of food. It is very prominent aspect. Next one is, their cells have a parietal layers of cytoplasm and are without nucleus. The vacuole is centered in position and cytoplasm is at periphery. So this location of vacuole at the center and its large size ensures proper storage of food material. If vacuole is smaller in size, then the stored food will be less. Okay, that's why this modification in the parenchyma cells are giving an advantage in the storage of good amount of food in the vacuoles of these parenchyma cells. Okay, now companion cells. You can witness the presence of companion cells. I think longitudinal section of this phloem tissue is making the picture very clear. You can understand the phenomenon. In transverse section,